Thank you. I find myself standing before you today in cap and gown with a slightly different perspective than many of you. Most of you arrived at Berkeley in the fall of 2004, just as I was boarding a plane to Ireland, where I spent my senior year at Trinity College in Dublin. While my classmates were performing this ceremony 3 years ago, in the spring of 2005, I was gallivanting through Ivy Gardens, holding an impromptu de facto graduation ceremony of my own. My friend Jean pretended to read my name from a piece of paper, then she rolled it up, handed it to me, and we spent the rest of the afternoon lying under the sun. I remember the day with clarity and unencumbered joy. I flew here today from Portland, which is the closest I've been to Berkeley in the years since I was in Ireland, and I'm grateful to be here with you today. I know that you're all ready to hear the common refrain against English majors. It seems almost public knowledge that our degree is an onanistic pursuit, a sort of slap in the face to industry and economy. Well, what do you think you're going to do with that? People say of our degree, as an ornate bumblebee costume the day after Halloween. I remember thinking often that the extensive bureaucracy at Cal was preparing me for the real world. Speaking as former student number 15448426, I imagined that by forging my way through this academic monstrosity alongside 40,000 other students, I had learned how to stand out, how to make what I wanted of any institution. We might think of this as the luxury of Berkeley's grandiosity. Spared the illusion of intimacy on this campus, we are spared disillusionment after leaving. This is one class of a single major, and we take up an entire theater. How easy to believe that the rest of the world can't be much larger. Professors will be replaced by employers, grades replaced by paychecks, and things will comfortably carry on apace. But what a dream to come across that job posting that says something like, wanted, English major with a knack for complicated and unsettling truths, flexible hours and good pay. And let me tell you, every English major in the country will be applying for that job, and for a lot of other jobs too. So where do we belong? What comes after Wheeler Hall? What room will industry and economy make for our skills? On campus, we know how to respond to the skepticism people have about our degree. We say, no pursuit could be more important. We've exposed ourselves to the full spectrum of human emotion, cultivated our ability to empathize, to see the world through the words of a stranger. And I would like to tell you that our country, now more than ever, needs English majors to join its ranks. That the shortcomings of our society derive from its failure of its people to critically examine the language that defines us. I would say that words are being repeated ad infinitum, losing all value and nuance to become tools of a short-sighted and ignorant economy. In other words, the public psyche has become victim to marketed bliss. But actually, I don't think that times are much different from how they've always been. Language will always be on the brink of collapse, because nothing is ever certain, and nobody ever tells the same story. To see this thread that ties together all of human history, that which binds each of us here today to every person outside of this theater, from John Milton to James Frey, is to see the true power of an English degree. Then wilt thou not be loath to leave this paradise, but shalt possess a paradise within thee, happier far. When I think about what I've learned over the past 3 years, of what I've accomplished, I think of what I've read. I think of books, not as a form of escapism from the unpleasant realities of capitalism, but as a means of absorbing myself into the culture that gives that capitalism its color. I wore Thomas Bernhardt's black Persian lamb coat, chased a boy and his lemming across Pinchonian wastelands. To what end? I don't know. I'm here today, and that's as far as I've gotten. Looking back, I would say that the path makes sense, for the most part. I'll confess that at certain times of isolation and frustration, my memory still places me standing on the steps beneath the Campanile, looking east to the Golden Gate Bridge. And sometimes I think I've stolen this story from someone else. Can my life really be so full of meaning? It will be terrifying and lonely after this. Nobody will tell you if you've made the right decisions, if your path isn't destined for meaninglessness. But in this chaos, I found something to be grateful for. Something specific that I received from Berkeley. Sometimes I think I can never put it into words, and yet I seem to read it everywhere. To be susceptible to the whims of language, the infinite possibilities of composition and structure, is to find an endless source of beauty. We are the lucky ones. In The Thief's Journal, Jean Genet writes, "What will guide me as something learned is not what I have lived, but the tone in which I tell of it. Not the anecdotes, but the work of art. Not my life, but the interpretation of it." We're receiving today a piece of paper. Nothing in the world has ever been more valuable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Charlie.